News flash. Journalists make mistakes. That's right. They're not perfect. They're human. And when they screw up, boy, do they feel it. Right here in the gut. That's because for so long, their mistakes were really hard to fix. The press has rolled or the broadcast aired, and the mistake was out there, everywhere. So the first reaction in the newsroom to an error report is usually, circle the wagons. We stand by our story. Now today, you can kind of sympathize with that reaction because so much of what journalists hear about their work online is just so hostile. People are really angry. They've lost trust in the news they get. You've probably seen this chart. If you're in the media world, it's awfully depressing. Now, most journalists don't think they're doing so badly, or they think their critics are disgruntled partisans. But sadly, that's not what we find in the few studies we have. They tell us that 59% of stories contain errors, and only 2% of those errors are ever corrected. But aren't most of those errors trivial? Who cares if you misspell somebody's name? Well, it matters to that person, and sometimes it matters a whole lot more. So we're at an impasse. The public thinks journalists won't listen to them, and journalists think people are out to get them, and nobody is very happy with the result. Let's take a look at a different model. Software. Now, software developers can't possibly pretend their work is perfect. Their programs crash all the time. So they keep careful track of stuff that needs fixing. Open source projects set up public bug trackers, sites where anyone can report a problem and get a response. What if we borrowed this model for the media? Well, for starters, newsrooms would have to become more open, more willing to take their own mistakes seriously instead of assuming that anyone who complains has an axe to grind and can therefore be ignored. Fortunately, the days of the newsroom as a forbidding fortress are ending. Most editors and reporters today understand. They're a part of the communities they cover. But it's still not easy to figure out how you reach someone in a newsroom or whether you'll be given a hearing if you do. Another problem is that even the best news organizations are shrinking today. The public has more ways than ever before to sound off about the news, but there are fewer people left in the newsroom to deal with them. The idea behind MediaBugs is to try to bridge this gap, to reconnect journalists with the public by setting up a bug tracker to fix the news. You can help by reporting errors you find and telling us what you think of our experiment.